Alright, so the last movie that we rented this weekend, and then I'll get into what we saw this weekend in theaters, is the movie starring Liam Neeson, The Grey. And this movie, I have to say, I am not impressed. I'm very disappointed by this, because the reason why we got The Grey in the first place is because we thought that, again, it was going to be a psychological film, a very in-depth movie about the one's insanity in a situation where life is on the line. But what I got personally was different from my wife's interpretation. What I got personally was that The Grey is more of a movie about how Liam Neeson's character is amazing, and everyone should follow him and do what he says, and every other character sucks, and is stupid, and will die off. And how wolves are evil. And that's pretty much what I got from this movie. Because from the start off, it's a movie where I can't like any of the characters. The same fucking thing that happened in Prometheus. Look, I'm not asking that you spend 5 minutes talking about this person's fucking family. I don't want to see that shit. Or giving me this very happy scenery, you know? Like, it's been better. You can sympathize you can feel with a character if given the right way of writing, given the right way of presentation. But so far we have, in the first section of the movie, before they get on the plane to crash in the middle of Alaska, we have Liam Neeson trying to kill himself, and whoop-de-fuck. Like, I know I'm sounding like a prude for this, but it's not like I need a character to be happy from the beginning of the film for me to like them. It's not like that. There are plenty of depressing characters out there that we can I cannot say this word. That we can empathize with. But Liam Neeson is not doing that very well. Liam Neeson in this movie is what looks like a 55-year-old sniper guard in Alaska who is mourning his dead wife. You could tell instantly off that he keeps having dreams about his fucking wife because he's a man and men love their wives. So once the wife is dead, he is just fucking depressed as hell. And maybe I'm not old enough. Maybe I just don't feel like, yeah, I haven't lost a loved one that way. But, god damn it. Like, could you make it any more fucking, I want to say melodramatic, but I don't even know if good music was played with it. I mean, again, it's artsy as shit in the beginning because you've got his memories of his stupid wife and his whole his whole image of connecting with this cold, barren place to his cold, barren persona. Really? Look, I can watch tragedies. I can. I know when a movie makes me depressed. But you've got to have something there in the first place to lose. Like, you have to have me on the side of the character, and so far I'm not. And it's not helping that he's surrounded by these ice workers who are as annoying as fuck as possible, and not a single woman among them. Like, not an important woman around them. It gives me the symbolism that I don't even remember his fucking names. Like, John Adway, that was our main character's name, Liam. Liam's dead wife is a symbol of how women are just so supporting, I guess, and how... fuck. Anyways, so it really gets off to a bad start because I don't like any of these characters. And it doesn't help anymore because once the plane crashes and Liam starts to be his amazing self because he knows how to survive, he knows how to handle the situation perfectly, he has no doubts, he has no fears even. He can punch a fucking wolf in the face. But everyone else is fucking taking this crash as well as possible. There are not many traumas happening here. I'm not being a dick and saying everyone needs to be traumatized. I'm just saying that I wish these men would stop acting like fucking dicks. They are. Like, you have the one guy in the group who has to call out on everyone, who has to start trouble and shit. He's a fucking one-note dick in his first part in the movie. Trust me, things will change. They will. That's why I'll get to that when I point out what I liked about this movie. I'm not saying this is as bad as Prometheus. I really gotta stop saying that. But no, The Grey is just more disappointing that way because you have some really great scenes and you're trying to get invested and you're trying to get immersed in this cold, icy wilderness, and one of the side characters has to say something stupid like, "Oh man, it's been so long since I had sex." Like, way to break the fucking silence, dude. But other than that, I mean, yeah, it was terrifying to see that plane scene go out. That was fucking amazing. Like, if I was on that fucking plane, I would be shitting my pants if the plane was like spinning with its roof off. Oh no no no! Of course, I'm gonna throw in a fallacy there because Liam Neeson ends up, while the plane is going down, he lays down on the airplane seats and puts on all 3 seatbelts. And then the plane crashes and he wakes up and the seats around him are gone. Even though he just tied himself to 3 seatbelts. Like, the seats just vanished. Like, I can probably chop it up to he got thrown the fuck out of his seats. But I would throw it up to that, but the next person he finds is strapped into his airplane seat. What the fuck? Minor note. So the survival begins, and these wolves come in. The wolves are our antagonists, our faceless slasher murderer. Bottom line, the Grey, not bottom line, but the Grey is basically your wolf slasher flick. It is. Everyone dies, you want them to die, and your antagonist is a bunch of wolves who have no personality other than being wolves. So, on an art note, I can understand where they're going with here, because now you have the group of men, led by their alpha, Liam, and you have these wolves, also led by their alpha, and they're fighting for survival, and they're fighting for their, the humans are fighting for their survival, the wolves are fighting for their get the fuck off of our land. Even though they keep following them for, like, miles. Whatever. But are we really in a day and age right now where we have to use wolves as our antagonists? Are we not past the whole childhood superstition and fairy tale that wolves are evil, that wolves are scary and they just want to kill? Like, even Tolkien used wolves as a natural evil force in his books, but we know better now. We know wolves are endangered now. And even in this movie, the wolves were CG. And you are gonna show this to a crowd who might end up being deathly afraid of wolves. So, it's a step back in that sense. That's where we're at, what I feel. Like, my wife couldn't really understand what I was talking about here, but to be able to use wolves in your antagonist movie in this day and age, after how many environmental messages that we have, and how many, endangered animal programs that we have going on, we have to use wolves. I just can't let that go. Like, just to discriminate on animals. To show that an animal is inherently evil is really fucked up. It's disrespectful to us who have went our childhood learning that wolves are not as scary as they were in Little Red Riding Hood. But no, this is a slasher flick. This is not just a slasher flick, but this whole movie is about men. It's about how men have fallen away from their primal sense to secure themselves in nature, how men are now feeble to the forces of the wild, how men have the support of women even though there's not a prominent female figure in this movie, and that in the end, Liam faces off the wolves with what should have been a great scene. I'm gonna spoil this, by the way. What should have been a great scene at the end, where he tapes a knife to his hand, and then 3, like, airplane booze bottles, you know, the little tiny, like, vodka bottles that you get on planes and stuff. 3 of those little bottles in between, and breaks them off on a rock to Jag, like, get his own little claws, if you know what I'm saying. You know, he tapes that on. So, we have this setup when we know that he might live, he might die, and that's where the movie ends. Like, before any... That's it. Like, he's about to face off with the Alpha, blank. It's trying to do this very immature, does he make it, does he not ending, and it's not Inception. This movie is not good enough to pull off that kind of ending, especially when the trailers for this movie sell it off on action. It sells it off on being able to destroy these fucking wolves. And, oh, by the way, if you really... You'll definitely feel where I'm going with the whole wolf thing and how unfair this is to our intelligence nowadays, is when the fucktard of the group cuts off a wolf head and throws it into the forest like a call to the balls of these wolves. Like, it really frustrates me now that I'm talking about it. It really does. Like, I didn't mind. I hated it. I really didn't like it when I was watching this movie. But now that I have to talk about it, it's so disrespectful to me as a viewer. Maybe it's just me, though. Other people might have liked this movie. Other people might not like wolves. But, for God's sake, this movie was just a disappointment. A real fucking disappointment. Like, we could have gone in this very psychological phase. We could have included a scene where Liam gets this moment of passing with these wolves. Like, these wolves are just ready to give up on him. Or maybe these wolves are just sort of like they're, you know, really in the form of defense, rather than purposely trying to kill off these guys. If they could have enforced that the wolves were more acting to nature, then I wouldn't feel so bad about this. But no, it's already stated in the movie by Liam himself that we have gotten on their lands, we've pissed on their ground, and they want us out, and they're not eating us, they just want us dead. So they're just fucking around with us. They're evil. And in this day and age, that really sucks. It really does. Because you're gonna throw us back in the mindset of manly men. You're gonna make us believe that wolves and nature is evil, and that we as people need to man up. Fuck you, The Grey. Oh, and by the way, The Grey is a very dumb title anyways, because nothing in this movie was really gray. It was more, white. And as deep as you wanted it to be, it wasn't that deep. So, again, fuck you, The Grey.